Hey guys, it's controversial. Today I'm going to make a video about the true origins of Egyptian culture. Now to explain this, we are not only going to talk about where the Egyptians said they came from, but also what outside sources said and also what science and archaeology can tell us today. Now let's get straight into it. Now, recent archaeological finds have found that humans have been inhabiting the Nile region of Africa for at least 300,000 years, up to 700,000 years using stone tools. Now, here I'm going to show some of the stone tools that have been found that have at least been 100,000 up to 300,000 years old. Alright? This technology has been named the Acheulean technology, and it has been found in an archaeological site known as Olduvai. Not only have humans been in the Nile Valley region since before out of Africa, new archaeological finds not have only found that, but have found an archaeological site that they've named Arkan 8, where they found 100,000-year-old stone tools, and not only that, but a stone structure. This stone structure was built around 100,000 BC, and it was made from sandstone slabs and blocks. It was made in an oval fashion and is over 180 centimeters deep in foundation. This here proves that ancient Africans have been living in the Nile Valley and have been building things since even before Eurasians ever existed. So take that, Hollywood. Moving on from that, many newer stone-making technologies and also cultures have existed for at least 40,000 years in the Nile Valley. Such of these are the Kadan cultures, the Hafan cultures, the Badari cultures, also the Kemetic cultures. They all predate Egypt or even any Nile Valley civilization known today. There are multiple remains from these societies that are this old, and I will show pictures of the things that they have made, such as statuettes, pottery, and many tools. Now we are going to talk about the origins of their known customs, like ceremonial statues and also mummification that the Egyptians are known for. The oldest known instance of ceremonial burying that have been found to correlate to Egyptian culture has been found in Nubia that dates to 5,500 years ago, which is called Nabta Playa in Nubia, which was supposedly built by Nilo-Saharan speaking people. Due to its close proximity and location on the Nile, we know now the later Egyptian cultures derived their statue making from Nubian cultures. We have also solidified this argument due to the Kustul incense burner, which has been found in Kustul, an archaeological site in Nubia. On this incense burner, there is an image of a seated king, a falcon deity, which is similar to the Egyptian one, an Egyptian boat, prisoners, and also sacred animals. This further solidifies that the ancient Egyptians got a lot of their customs from ancient Nubians, since it predates any instances known to be found in Egypt. Even the ancient Greeks believed this to be true. Ancient historian Diodorus Siculus says this: "They say also that the Egyptians are colonists sent out by the Ethiopians, Osiris being the leader of the colony. For, speaking generally, what is now Egypt, they maintain was not land but sea when in the beginning the universe was being formed. Afterwards, however, as the Nile during the times of its inundation carried down the mud from Ethiopia, land was gradually built up from the deposit." Also, the statement that the land of the Egyptians was alluvial silt deposited from the river receives the clearest proof, in their opinion, from what takes place at the outlets of the Nile. For as each year new mud is continually gathered together at the mouths of the river, the sea is observed being thrust back by the deposited silt and the land receiving the increase. And the larger part of the customs of the Egyptians are, they hold, Ethiopian, the colonists still preserving their ancient manners. For instance, the belief that their kings are gods, the very special attention which they pay to their burials, and many other manners of a similar nature are Ethiopian practices, while the shapes of their statues and the forms of their letters are Ethiopian. For of the two kinds of writing which the Egyptians have, that which is known as popular, demotic, is learned by everyone, for which they call sacred, is understood by only the priests of the Egyptians, who learn it from their fathers as one of the things that they are not divulged. But among the Ethiopians, everyone uses these form of letters. Furthermore, the orders of the priests they maintain have much of the same position among both peoples, for all are clean, who are engaged in the service of the gods, keeping themselves shaven like the Egyptian priests and having the same dress in form of staff, which is shaped like a plume and is carried by their kings, who wear high felt hats which end in a knob at the top and are circled by the serpents they call asps. And this symbol appears to carry the thought that it will be the lot of those who shall dare to attack the king to encounter death-carrying stings. Many other things are also told by them concerning their own antiquity and the colony that they sent out that became the Egyptians, but about this there is no special need of our writing. There you have it. Not only the Greeks said it, but the Egyptians also stated that they come from the Ethiopians, which we know as the Nubians. The Egyptians also said more about what they came from, but let's talk about one other Greek historian that also said something about what the Egyptians looked like, which is Herodotus. He says, "The Egyptians said that they considered the Colchians part of Sesostris' army. I myself guessed it, partly because they are dark-skinned and woolly-haired." There is a big controversy surrounding this because a lot of people believe that he meant to say that they are tan-skinned with curly hair, though further proof has showed that he meant dark-skinned with woolly hair. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, it states, "We came from the beginning of the Nile where God happy dwells, at the foothills of the mountain of the moon." Now, the beginning of the Nile, where the happy dwells, refers to Uganda and where the Nile River begins. So not only they say they come from Nubians, but they also say they come from the area known as the African Great Lakes and Uganda. This can also be further backed by a DNA test done on the Amarna kings and queens of Egypt around the 18th dynasty, and their results say that they are mostly from the African Great Lakes region where the Nile begins and flows upwards. Those results will be shown on the screen now. Not only do they have Nubian and sub-Saharan African origins, they also have North African Libyan origins seen here. The oldest known intentional mummification was found a while back in Libya, and it seems from evidence to have inspired the Egyptians to have their mummification. It has also been argued that the most influential people to the ancient Egyptians were the Mesopotamians due to their writing system and their architecture, but is not backed up by any evidence since the oldest hieroglyphs predate the oldest cuneiform scripts. The oldest known hieroglyphics were found in Kustul. There has also been older pre-dynastic kings which bear hieroglyphics. Most people don't know this, but the oldest civilization is actually not Egypt, nor is it Mesopotamia. There are two older civilizations in both of those, one being Cite and the other being Tameri. Now, the way these civilizations went is around 4000 to 3800 BC, there was a civilization, a Nubian civilization, a Nilo-Saharan speaking language called Cite. Now, the Kustul fragments are from the civilization of Cite. Now, their borders were from Wadi Halfa, the northernmost city in Sudan, all the way up until Abydos, which was the ancient city that Narmer, the first king of Egypt, was from. Tameri's borders, on the other hand, was from the delta all the way just north of Abydos. Tameri thrived all the way from 3500 BC to 3100 BC. Now, these two nations fell at the same time due to a specific event that changed history forever. A man named Aha-Menenarmer was born around 3200 to 3150 BC. He was the son of a king of Cite. Around 3118 BCE, Narmer went up the Nile and went unifying Egypt by killing off all the local kings. He let some live and become nomarchs, but the ones who opposed his rule and opposed the unification of Tameri and Cite to become one kingdom were killed. He completed his journey in around 3118 BC, where he unified all of the land of Egypt, creating the kingdom of Kemet. Narmer ruled for a long time and is suspected to have died by getting attacked by a crocodile while hunting. Since Seti was a Nubian civilization and Narmer was born in a place that was Seti territory, that means that the first king and the founder of Egypt was a Nubian. Okay guys, that was the video. I hope you guys liked it and hopefully you guys learned something. If you liked the video, then subscribe or like the video. That will let me know that you guys liked it. And that's about it. Peace and know thyself.